Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? I believe, you know, those words just touch my heart because it's, how can you not believe? You know, I believe the baby and the beauty of the world is like, it can't not be, right? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to ask you what you believe, and why you believe it. Because the whole idea of belief, this subject is pretty dicey. It goes pretty deep about our beliefs. Don Miguel Ruiz calls it being domesticated with beliefs. That ever since we were kids, right? Ever since you were born, you were domesticated into a belief system, right? From the very beginning. And it's how you behave in the world. It's your worldview. We've been domesticated from our parents, from our teachers, from books. You know, they've all told us what to believe. And then I think they're finally our cultures. You know, the culture you are in is different than other cultures. So our beliefs are different. And I think as we start to evolve a little bit, we get to be teenagers, we kind of step out and go, oh my God, I don't believe this anymore. You know, we fight with our parents and we start to change some of our beliefs. And finally, I think there comes a time when we go, wow, you know, what is this belief, you know? What am I really doing with this belief that's in my head that's affecting me now? So the title that I picked today was, Who is Plowing Your Field? Who's plowing your field? That your field is your mind, right? Who's plowing that? I thought about that as Judy was doing this beautiful meditation and the soft and the beautiful music, and I thought to myself, our field is being plowed right now. Does that make sense? The field is being plowed, and then it's ripe now for seeds to be planted, right? To be planted in us. So what you believe, right, are the seeds that are planted in your head. So we're even planting seeds in your head today, you know, and then you have to decide whether it makes sense to you, whether you believe it or not. And so I got to thinking about, you know, that our mind is just this open awareness of God. It's just this open awareness, and we get to choose what we put in it. Actually, we don't even get to choose. Sometimes it's put in there, and we have to look at it. So we have to decide, you know, who or what we listen to, and then who we give our allegiance to, right? Because we're going to hear a lot of stuff that we don't buy. We're going to hear a lot of stuff that we do, and then we have to be the one that decide. You have to decide what matters in your life. How your life is better because of the beliefs that you hold. See? What I know is that information comes from out there all the time, you know, through the TV, through the media, through people's opinions, and it comes from within. There's a voice within, a clear truth. And our job is to be able to take it all in and decide what to believe and decide how to be in the world, you know. Many of us aren't really quite centered enough to be able to listen to the voice within. And that's the whole idea here, is that there's so many of us who just listen to the TV. We just read the books. We listen to everybody else, and we don't go within to hear our own truth. We don't drop to our heart. We take it in our head. So I'm talking today about knowing and knowing. Does that make sense? The big little K and the big K. I'm talking about being able to maybe look at it all and then make your decisions from there. Robert reminded me that when I said we're going to be talking a little bit about, you know, what we believe, because we have a lot of fearful thoughts being put in us, that he reminded me that fear stands for false evidence appearing real. I'm sure you've heard that before, and I like that. So I want to focus on this idea that many of our beliefs are based in fear. They're based in fear. And it's that fear that can be used to control us and brainwash us and dominate us if we let it. And more important than that, it's fear of our emotions and fear of our thoughts that help us lose connection with Spirit. And that's the most important thing. It paralyzes us into a life of disconnection from your Spirit, from the divine, from the magnificence, from who you are. See, that's the biggest fear that there is that you're not connected to who you really are. And fear blocks that connection. And when I say brainwash, I mean that if you look, in politics, I'm talking about politics specifically, we've had kind of a rough week in politics, in religions, in worldviews. You know, we have a fearful way of life, and we get to decide if we're going to buy into that or not. So religion, big time religion will share beliefs with you. So it was interesting, this week I had 2 young Jehovah's Witness girls come. Donna, you like this one. And they had their awake and their watchtowers, really sweet girls, and they came to my gate. And this is the question that they asked me. I knew they were Jehovah's Witnesses because I know the magazines and I have them in my family and things, so I kind of knew about it. And the first question that she asked me is, she goes, don't you think God is really mad and upset with the awful things that are happening in the world today? So, and I got thinking about, and I decided I wasn't going to engage and I didn't want to talk. I don't want to ever prove any religion, I don't want to try to prove it wrong. I mean, that's not, what I'm to do. But I did, take a breath and told her, it must be hard to go do what you're doing, and anyway, they left. But my point that I wanted to make today is that they were plowing the field with seeds of fear. You understand what I'm saying? God's going to be mad at you, right? God's going to be mad at you. Look at all the stuff that's going on. He's not very happy with the world. So if you accept Yahweh, that's Yahweh and Jehovah, then things will be better. So that's the kind of idea. It's that way in many of the traditions. It's based in fear. Fear gets people to church, right? Fear gets people to church. If you don't go to church, you're not going to get saved. If you don't get saved, you're going to go to hell. So, they plow their fields with seeds of fear. Not only religion. This is interesting. I started looking at a website, and it was talking about how marketing uses fear, right? Marketing uses fear. Politics uses fear. There's even a study that they did that showed that telling a prospect how much money you can save isn't as effective as telling them as how much they can lose. Isn't that interesting? So all of our marketing even is kind of a fear-based thing. So you're getting fear here, fear there, fear here, all over, and those are the seeds that are starting to be planted in us until we can breathe and come to our own conclusion, right? Through the quiet, through listening to what's inside, taking in what you know, and then being open enough to form your own opinion, right? So Buddha, all the mystics, saw fear as a force to be tamed and defeated, as an obstacle to enlightenment. So what they're saying is it kept us from seeing the Spirit of God. It kept us from knowing and experiencing God as fear. All of the traditions, the Hermetic traditions, right through to the Sufis, the Gnostics, the Vedic, the Kabbalistic traditions, the Tao, and the Zen system, fear has been something to overcome. In the Christian tradition, it was the devil. It is the devil. We got to overcome that fear to be able to, get peace. See, they believe that it was important to your spiritual development, and it's important to our psychological development to be able to look at our fears in our life. So fear blocks not just our spiritual perception, you guys, but it also blocks our just clear thought for everyday life, right? I mean, I think Judy uses it a lot when she says that fear makes us stupid. Makes us stupid. Because we get so fearful that we do dumb things. We drive wrong, right? We turn into the wrong lane, or we do something really, really dumb. It's because all this fear is coming in at us, right? Mark Turrell calls it emotional hijacking. He says it refers to the way that fear swamps the thinking brain, making it harder to use our everyday, let alone our higher perceptive capacities. He says it keeps us from connecting to that God inside of us. Fear, this is powerful to me. I never thought about it this way, but we are creative energy. We are just this power of God inside of us, right? We have this creative field. And when you are in fear, it's a misuse of that creative field. It's a misuse of it. We can do so much more. We can take the energy of fear and save the world. We can do anything power of God inside of us. When we let go of the fear, it's already there. It's nothing that we have to do to get it. You were born. The minute you were born with this incredible, magnificent field of God inside of you. And that field of God has intelligence in it. It has power in it. It has beauty in it. It has magnificence in it. Your life can be what you want it to do. That's the creative field. And when we focus on it, you can do anything with your life that you need to do. You can handle the stuff that comes in. But when we let fear control, it changes everything. Fear blocks us. It takes us over. Just as seeds are more easily planted when sown in a plowed field, when the brain is churned out, beliefs can be easily implanted. Some of them are destructive. We know that, you know. The ancients used to call it the knowing and knowing, what I just talked about. That spirituality itself isn't just a question of belief, because anybody can be induced to believing anything. You believe that? That they can make you believe anything. So it has to be about an experience. So when you're sitting here, if you don't feel something, you know, if you can't experience God, don't listen to just the head stuff, right? You've got to be able to experience God, and that's the whole idea, I think, of Common Ground. It's about a direct experience. It's about the mystics. You know, in all religions, there's the fundamental part of it, and then there's the mystical part. And the mystical part is usually about that. You don't need an intermediate, a middle person. You don't need a middle person, right? You can go direct to God. That you have direct access to that incredible field because it's inside of you. It's outside of you. It's in everything. That's the power of it. That's the power of it. We don't need something else outside of us. We have a direct experience. And he says, there's a Sufi master who says he understood how fear could be used to indoctrinate almost all of us 1,000 years before psychological brainwashing was recognized by the West. And he stressed the need to overcome that fear because he said it's that stops us from connecting to God. Connecting to God. In order to gain mastery of ourselves and not be manipulated by others, to see reality for the way it is, the real truth of God, you got to feel it. Only then can our fear be mastered. And we have to realize that what do? Okay, we've got fears in our life, right? We have fears. They're planted in us from the very beginning. And there's good fear and bad fear, right? We got to have some fear. If there's a fire, hopefully we'll all get out and run or walk out, you know. I mean, so there's good fear, but there's the fears that run around in our head like a tape. The fears of financial ruin, of, you know, relationships, things that you can't really, you know, do a lot about. They keep running around in your head. Those are the fears I'm talking about. But the truth is, if you ask all the masters and if you read the books and you go in deep inside, you realize that fear isn't the enemy. We think it is. I've been talking about it like it is. But the truth is that it's a warning for us. It's something for us to look at and embrace. Both healthy and pathological fear. Healthy fear is good. Healthy fear is good. Pathological, bad. Pathological, bad. You know, it hurts us. It hurts our health. Hurts the way that you know, we are in the world. The truth is that fear is designed to save our life, not destroy it. And now fear is starting to destroy it. Before we were using fear from the very beginning to run from the fire, but now we're using it as stress and anxiety. There's so much anxiety. Boy, you know, I just read a study that little kids now have anxiety. They've got programs in school where young kids, I think as far as first grade, second grade, are anxiety-ridden. I think that's pretty scary. And that's a form of fear. So Eckhart Tolle and the other teachers say, okay, we have to accept it. That's the only way that we can disarm fear is to accept it. And realize that it's not who you are. Sometimes we think we're the fear. Right? We think we are the fear. And the truth is that fear is just another energy that we can accept. We can take it in, we can let it, you know, find out what it's telling us and then let it go. He says that we have to stop identifying with it and start by naming it. What is it? Why is this fear here? By facing it head on. Remember, Judy, you did talk on face everything head on. And that's what this is about. It's about whatever's going on in your life and it's fearful. Face it. Don't run from it. Don't bury it. Because when you bury these fearful feelings alive, they kill you. And I mean, they really kill you. It's up to us to embrace our fears, to be able to work through them. And when you can work through them, your life changes. Your life changes. And then it doesn't define you. Sometimes fear just defines us. And we lose the freedom of who we are. We lose the freedom of who we are. So, I think if I look at my life, and I look at many of your lives, I think we have this idea that fear is normal, for all of us, and it probably is, normal. And the truth is that when we're feeling the fear, I believe that our mind is out there when we're in here. That's the fear. Does that make sense? That our mind is somewhere else, but our self is here. That's fear. That's what fear is about. We're not in the present moment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. When we're in the present moment, there is no fear. There is no fear. Usually everything is just fine in the present moment, but it's when our mind is out there and our body's here that the fear is experienced. It's our life, you guys. It's our life. And we have to decide what to believe. Each one of you have to decide what you want to spend your life believing, how you want to be in your life. Who is planting the seeds in our heads? So I want you to kind of think about that. Look at the TV, the books that you read, the places you go, the friends you hang out with. Look and see. Is it fear? Is fear the base of your life? Or is love the base of your life? And it might be a little bit of both. It is with me, The truth is that it's wasting that precious energy. The fear is wasting our precious energy. And what I know is that, all we have to do is let go, and God awaits us. The Spirit Divine awaits us, So I'm asking you before we close to question what you believe. To hold your opinions lightly and the opinions of other people lightly. Go God direct. Know that your source is right inside of you. Go direct to God. Don't let someone else plow the seeds of fear in your field, this magnificent field that you are. And so in closing, please say with me, peace in my family, peace in my community, and peace in my world.
And peace in my world.
Thank you.